Holy Priest didn't have the best start in the War Within. It felt like its values were still somewhere in the land of Dragonflight, while everyone else's health bars went up a ton. And for most of the season, it didn't feel unplayable, but I wasn't going to take it into any high keys, kind of avoiding 10s because I knew it would just be easier on Discipline Priest. But after some buffs, I started feeling better about Holy Priest, but the real trick is all these changes coming in Season 2. I want to talk all about this PTR rework and why I think it's actually very good for the Holy Priest player. I do have some critique though as well, but I think it's mostly good stuff. So Holy Priest players who've been waiting a minute, I think this is going to be a good season for us. I'll explain why. My name is Bowser the Healer, and let's dive right into this one. Alright, first things first, there's a ton of changes that were posted at the end of December, and there's been more changes since then. So I'll have a link down below to the original changes if you want to read through them. I'm going to go through some of my favorites. The left side of the tree has gotten a major rework. We've basically removed Circle of Healing and its nodes. Now, a lot of these nodes are changed to interact with Prayer of Healing instead as our main AoE healing button. Sanctify still remains a strong button, and we even have some talents that power it up that have also been moved around, which makes it a very useful AoE heal. You also still get that powering up effect where Holy Word Sanctify reduces the cast time and the cost of your Prayer of Healing by 20%, and then of course Resonant Words. By casting any Holy Word spell, you increase the healing of your next Flash Heal, Prayer of Healing, or Power Word Life, allowing you to convert that into AoE healing or into single target healing just fine. You no longer have to worry about powering up specifically your Circle of Healing, and your Prayer of Healing is taken only to get down to that node. It's a lot less messy, and I really enjoy that about the tree. Also down here on the left side is a new node. Trail of Light is here if you want to do your Cleave Healing, which is my preferred node. However, I think raiders will really like this. Dispersing Light. 5% of healing done with Heal, Flash Heal, and Power Word Life is replicated to 4 injured allies within 40 yards. This is a really fun talent. I've used it in dungeons, and it's not quite strong enough in dungeons that I want to take it. This could easily get the 100% stronger out of raid, and I think it would be phenomenal. But as it stands, I think this will do a lot of simple rot healing in the middle of a raid, in a way that you're not worried about the Trail of Light, or maybe the last target you healed just got healed to full and so therefore you're losing that healing. This should smart heal to 4 other targets and allow you to just get Cleave Healing done at all times. Love this. I'm gonna have to try it in raid because Holy Priest is tantalizing right now. I kind of want to try it. For our major cooldowns, now you only have Apotheosis and Divine Hymn. We can say Guardian Spirit's a major cooldown, but seeing as it's typically a 1 minute and it's just a cheat death, and while I love it, the big ones really are Divine Hymn and Apotheosis. Divine Hymn now channels faster, by the way, so it's done in 4.1 seconds. This is a really good feeling, by the way, because you can actually use Divine Hymn to ramp before an incoming mechanic with very little issue, where before it used to be kind of nightmare fueled to get off correctly. And the 2 nodes down below make it very easy to use. You can either make it a 2 minute, which is perfect for Mythic Plus timers, but let's say you're okay with it being a 3 minute. Gales of Song allows a channeled Divine Hymn to give out 2 stacks of Prayer of Mending on up to 3 allies within its range every 0.8 seconds. This is incredibly cool, and it looks really fun when you use it, watching all of the Prayer of Mendings just flying around. I have a feeling this is going to put in work in raid, and I want to see what the real numbers look like. I do think it has a place in Mythic Plus as well, but it's going to be dungeon specific, so I think a good safe one is this Seraphic Crescendo. Oh, I tried. Reducing the cooldown by 60 seconds. Apotheosis is still the tried and true. It did get a nerf in that it's cooling down your holy words by 200%. I think that's because there are ways for you to get your holy words back a little bit quicker now, so I think they wanted to make this not too broken. But down below, either you can have increased healing by 10% while your Apotheosis is active, also granting you 3 heal or Prayer of Healing cast to be instant and heal for 25% more. That is like a perfect pug talent, and I really like how it reads. But to the right of it, Eternal Sanctity, your holy words extend the duration of Apotheosis by 1 second. I'm not quite sure how many seconds you can get out of this effectively. I'll need someone to really try it and let me know, but there's a world where you extend Apotheosis by a long enough margin that maybe you're healing 2 major mechanics. I don't know. It could be a really interesting way to play, but the fact that we have these nodes I think is a really big boon to Holy Priest. Now towards the bottom side of the tree, there's a couple of new talents. One of them empowered Renew. I'm not sure about this one. Renew reduces the cooldown of Sanctify by an additional 6 seconds and heals for 60% more when cast, but it has a 12-second cooldown. Listen, it doesn't make Renew that godlike of a heal over time, so I don't know if it's that good. Even with all of the Renew talents, it still feels a little weak. But getting extra cooldowns off your Sanctify, that's kind of tempting for me. So I really like the way this one plays, but you can easily swap it out. And a lot of the nodes down here have completely moved, like Desperate Times for increased healing when targets are below 50% health. Well, that's all the way over here now. Prismatic Echoes that increases your mastery and your renew healing is right here on the way down to Divine Image, but so is Light in the Darkness, increasing healing done by Holy Word Serenity and Holy Word Sanctify by 40% with both points. It also increases the radius of Sanctify by 30%. These two combined make it very easy to not only get Divine Image, but you can choose if you want more heal over times on targets for free, right? Mastery without having to get more mastery stat is not a bad thing. But Light in the Darkness allows you to have even chunkier AoE heals. This did save my butt a few times in one dungeon I ran that unfortunately just was completely incomplete. We were not able to finish that place, but I did get to notice just how useful this talent is. And having multiple ways down to some of your favorite talents I think is good. Also, to those of you who liked getting a bunch of renews out, Lasting Words is back from Dragonflight. Unfortunately, you don't get random procs on Holy Words, but I am happy to see this make a return. I still have some issues with Holy Priest, and I want to get these out into the ether before the season starts, so let's get into that. And one real issue I have is that I haven't told you guys to subscribe yet. So hey, you should subscribe if you like the channel. It'd mean a lot to me. Thank you. My first issue comes in the value from the mana cost and the healing of Prayer of Healing. While it has been boosted, it's still a little disappointing. Like, I have 7.4 million health, right? Let's just call that 7.5 million. If I hit Prayer of Healing, I got 165,000 health. That feels kind of low value. Actually, hey Google, what is 160,000 of 7.5 million? Is it actually 2% of my health? Ain't no way. Hold on. What if I don't believe this. Where's the calculator? I need a calculator. 7500000 times 0.02. Oh my God. It's roughly 2%. That's terrible. Okay, so in conclusion, yeah, it's 2% of my health. That doesn't feel very good. And yeah, you can power it up, right? It can now draw from your Lightweaver stacks, which is really cool. And yeah, you can get it stronger, but my stronger was 190,000. That is pathetic. Even when you multiply that by 5, you're barely healing a million healing. That is disappointing. Even with criticals, that is sad. I think Prayer of Healing needs to do one of two things. Either Prayer of Healing needs to cost less mana, or what I think it should do is it should heal a lot more. I don't mind it costing mana. I like that I can reduce its mana cost, but maybe make that value even chunkier so that it is a go-to spell that has a heavy weight to it. I don't mind that, but in its current state, it costs way too much mana, as you might have noticed if I just send it here. Look at, I lose 5% of my mana bar. That's a lot of mana to cast a spell that's barely doing 2% of my health and barely doing 10% of the team's health. So that's a little disappointing. My second big critique with not just Prayer of Mending, our mana bar in general, is that something feels off about the mana curve. The mana regen talent is working as intended, there's no problems there. But there's just something about how much mana I'm spending to keep people upright. I feel like the mana curve needs to be adjusted a little bit. Maybe costs need to come down a touch. Maybe the mana regen needs to go up. Maybe the damage spells need to be completely free, or maybe only cost like 1,000 mana so that they're unbelievably mana positive. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm running out of mana faster than I normally do, and I feel like it's the intended playstyle of the class, so having to drink between pulls when no other spec really has to, I think is not a good sign. So something has to adjust. It doesn't need to be a big adjustment though, just so we're clear. Just a little something, because I'm even running the talent that returns mana when something dies with Shadow Word Pain on it, and yeah, that's still not saving the day for me. So I think something here is just a little bit off. Also on the damage side of things, Holy Priest single target damage is really weak. Now, I remember a time in PvP, specifically in Dragonflight, where Holy Priest would just blow you up. And I don't want the PvP players to suffer, but I do think that the single target is a little bad, especially on Oracle, because with Archangel, you at least have Halo pumping out damage in AoE. Taking a sacrifice in single target isn't a big deal, but when you're not doing as good AoE damage or single target damage on Oracle, it doesn't feel good. Maybe buff Oracle to do more single target damage, or maybe raise all of the single target damage and give Oracle a little bit of something. I don't know what it is. Both Oracle and Archangel feel good overall. I don't have a lot of complaints there. It's mostly the damage side of it that I think is a little bit weak. And this isn't really criticism, this is more of an observation. I'm not sure the difficulty of next season, because the dungeons and the affixes and the players, I don't have like a good sense of how hard the dungeons have been. For context, you get a buff during like a PTR run that tells you like what your item level is scaled to. That didn't line up with what people were saying in the dungeon or what our character pages said. So I'm not sure what item level this is correlating to. I'm not sure how hard the dungeon scaling is. Is the dungeon being scaled to our current level? Is it being scaled for next season? And these are the questions I can never seem to get solid answers for. So if I just go off my gut feeling of pushing up health bars in the pixels of that little party frame, it feels like you're going to be able to do 10s and 12s with no problem and probably push higher with little issue, right? It's going to come to the group playing really well, and less so that like Holy Priest can't do it. I think it can do it right now. And that's my favorite part about Holy Priest. When Holy Priest is online and like it can actually play the game and keep up with off meta choices or even meta choices, I love that it's an entry level healer, that the skill ceiling is high, but the entry level's on the ground. Anyone can jump in and learn Holy Priest. But God, getting good at Holy Priest feels incredible. Being able to swap from damage to healing instantly, having just the right tools that you get a little bit of ramp, a little bit of prep, and then like action, the damage comes in and you're just cranking heals. I love it. Can you believe there was a time period where I hated this healer? Yeah, me neither. I was so wrong, and I'm so happy I was wrong. So I'm hoping that season 2, Holy Priest gets to live a better life. Now, some of you go, do you think it'll be meta? No, I don't think so. I think Disc and Mistweaver are going to be strong. Shaman's not really going anywhere, and Preservation's still good with good damage, and it's going to be even better next season. So there's going to be a lot of good contending healers, and without a kick, it's hard to give Holy Priest or Discipline Priest anything like, I can't give them more that they bring to a dungeon, and Disc still brings more than a Holy Priest right now. Maybe we give a kick to Holy Priest. Hold on, maybe I'm onto something now. But I do think for those of you who love the spec, you're eating good. In Raiders, I think you're really eating good. I haven't done any raid testing. I kind of don't want to. I kind of want to go in somewhat blind into the new raid. I gotta be real with you. All these talent changes that affect healing in raid all seem like really good changes. So I'm gonna have to see how that feels in raid. Now, maybe I bring the Holy Priest to a raid. Yeah, maybe I bring it to like a community raid night. I'll make a video on that. That should be fun. That's gonna do it for this one. Let me know your comments and concerns down below. As always, I love reading through those. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care, friends.